Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is reportedly close to a move to Barcelona on loan. David Ornstein and Fabrizio Romano have both reported about this deal in the coming hours, in the past few hours, and we're going to be delving into it in more detail. Lots of done deals, and here we go, getting over the line today with fans waiting for the official announcement. Tottenham very busy with their double swoop. Donny van der Beek picking Everton over Crystal Palace, which many people didn't see happening. And what does this set up for? What does this set us up for on deadline day, with a number of teams still needing to do business? And of course, it's been a horrendous day for large parts of football for many reasons. Mason Greenwood has reportedly been arrested. We know it's him, even though they can't release the name for legal reasons. And Manchester United have suspended the forward after the horrendous videos, voice notes, and claims against him when put forward by his absolutely brave girlfriend today. We're going to delve into more of that as well if people want to have their say. It's been a pleasure sharing spaces with people today, listening to people's stories, because this is a subject matter that should not be brushed under the carpet in any way, shape, or form. Make sure you smash that like button before you go anywhere else. Subscribe to the Football Terrace. This is the Done Deal Show. Let's do it. Good evening, one and all. Transfer special for you tonight. Lots of going ons at football clubs. Lots of news circulating as well. As already mentioned, a little bit of a update in relation to the horrendous Mason Greenwood story. And when I say horrendous, I'm purely talking about the victim here, and of course the ripple effect that it has towards people impacted by such situations. Zero sympathy for him. Not even any sympathy for Man United. You know why? They don't. Not that they have done anything wrong, but they just don't deserve it. They are not the focus here. It is very good to see that they have suspended him. It's very good to see that they're taking this seriously. It's one of the reasons why I believe these subject matters need to be discussed, and shouldn't be brushed under carpets, and everyone will have a different take on how much they want to say, how much they want to get involved, and that's completely and utterly on them. But it's certainly something that should be spoken about and addressed, and the authorities are now involved, and I hope the full force of the law, the allegations are taken 110% seriously from both the legal element and from Manchester United Football Club and by the FA, and is delved into to its absolute entirety to ensure every ounce of justice can be handed out. There is no hiding behind this for anybody at anybody associated for Man United, and anybody associated anywhere, absolutely anywhere. To think this is isolated just to one player at one club, you'd be absolutely kidding yourselves. You would. So it's great to see that Manchester United have stepped up. It's great to see that Manchester United have got that done. It's great to see that Manchester United have acted in a way in which they should. And I'm sure more is going to transpire in the coming days, weeks, and months around this. So that's been handled. If you do want to phone in and have your say on today's show, feel free to. The link is pinned to the live comment section. But we're talking transfers as well on this show. We really are talking transfers when it comes to what's going on in the world of football right now. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang closing in on a move, as you can see here, put out by Mr. Ornstein around 4 hours ago, stating that Barca are nearing an agreement for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang on loan till the summer. The main issue to resolve is salary. Would be a major saving for Arsenal, but no loan fee or option or obligation to buy. No incoming deals closed. And so we title, you see that the bar below me around what next for Arsenal. Another player seemingly going. Just over 24 hours remain in this window, and Arsenal have made no real moves forward as of yet. What's your take? What's your sense? What's your gut feeling in relation to this? Do you feel that anyone is coming. Of course, we had a lot of gooners very positive in the last 24, 48 hours. There's no way we're letting all these players leave without anybody new coming in, without anybody of any substance coming through that door. So it's going to be intriguing to see what happens. Spurs have now got 2 deals in. Now, they've obviously Rodrigo Bentancur, and I want to pronounce the guy's name right, is in Dejan Kulusevski. I think it's how it's pronounced. They're done deals. They will be Tottenham players. They will be announced in the next 24 hours. How good they both are. Listen, Bentancur is someone that I've heard a lot of people talk about it over the years, about how technically gifted he is, how good a football player he is. The other lad, I'll be honest with you, I don't know who he is. I've never heard of him. I don't watch Italian football. I don't know much about him at all. So whether he's a prodigy in the making, whether he's overrated, I don't know. All I do know is that he's not heavily linked. He's moving to Tottenham. Will Arsenal be responding in kind? I want to know what you think and feel about that. A comment here says, you're going to talk about Fabio Carvalho. Well, of course, that young Fulham player, Dean Jones and I spoke about him on the show on Tuesday. Heavily linked with the move to Liverpool. Absolutely right. Heavily linked with the move to Liverpool I've seen today. It's been a hard day for me, to be fair, because I had my parents over. So I've been cooking the majority. I was going to have a complete day off today till the evening. But of course, the Mason news broke and we spoke about that briefly. But I've been cooking most of the day. I've been with my children and my parents and the family dog. So I've been trying to keep an eye on the news, but also spending quality time with the family. So it's been a little bit difficult. But I have seen that news kind of circulating. Luis Diaz is done, is over the line, is completed. So it's going to be interesting to see what else Liverpool do. I mean, that could be it's a serious talent, I believe, a serious talent for the future. I've not seen him myself, but someone that I've heard has got a very, very bright future in the game. Let's have a little look here at what's being said in the live comment section. Allow your parents, Terry. This is more important. I'm sorry. I know bringing you the terrorists, bringing you what's trending transfer-wise is very, very important. I know. Equally, another interesting story today. Donny van der Beek has ended up picking Everton over Crystal Palace. I'm a little bit surprised. Maybe because it's nearer and he wants to stay. Maybe him and his family are settled where they are in Manchester. He probably isn't going to have to move home. Maybe that played a big part. But Palace just seem to be in a better position, playing better football with a better manager. You could argue with a better squad, maybe. But he's picked Everton to go on loan until the end of the season. And I really want to get some viewpoints and some opinions on that. I really want to understand your take on that deal as well. And any other transfers that are circulating. Of course, loads of announcements came out today as well. Bruno here signing for Newcastle, 50 million euros. With add-on fees included, plus 20% future sale purchase there, as you can see. That is done and over the line. This was one that we saw coming, really. Dennis Zakaria to Juve, done deal, here we go. Now, we kind of always had an inkling that this man was going to move to a big club over the course of January. Largely because of the situation with... certain clubs distance themselves from those early talks, Man United being one of them. We know they had talks and then suddenly, we didn't speak to him at all. Of course you didn't. We knew he was going to go to a big club. Everybody wanted to keep, egg off their face, essentially. And that is what they did. So he has now made that move and he is on his way to Juventus. There was also a trending rumor earlier on today as well about Man United and Ousmane Dembele. Now, interestingly, Man United, the situation with Mason Greenwood, the first fault, and the only really important fault at this moment in time is, of course, the brave young lady who has suffered at the hands here. United find themselves in a situation where they, in my opinion, it doesn't look good. I don't think he's ever going to play for Manchester United again. There's only one way back, and that ain't going to happen. So, because it ain't real. He's as bang to rights as anybody could be. So could Man United be in the market tomorrow for an emergency player to come in, because there's now a gap in the squad. Could Man United fill it? Maybe, and that's not an insensitive thing. That's a sense of, they've got business obligations themselves. If somebody was suspended from a normal day job, you wouldn't expect that company not to replace that body at work. So could Man United do it? But Fabrizio Romano here has stated that there has been no official bid or no talks open between Man United for Ousmane Dembele. They've not submitted any proposal to sign him on deadline day as things stand. Same position from Man United since this morning, I think, is what Fabrizio means in that statement there. So right now, Man United not looking to do anything else. Cedric here actually says that Elanga is going to get more game time, and maybe this is what it is. Maybe, as you say, it's Elanga is going to get the opportunity to step up here and deliver. And he's been playing anyway, but would I be surprised if Man United was suddenly linked with a with a winger or an inside forward? No, I really, really wouldn't be. I know a few people are putting 2 and 2 together. United were linked with Luis Diaz and Ousmane Dembele. Did they know this was coming? Listen, I'm not going to speculate on those things because we just don't know as of now. And there is no point casting aspersions and making, there's no point casting aspersions until we know, And I think the reason why this has been such a damning day is because we've seen the evidence. A lot of people have messaged me today again, why didn't you have this energy for this player or this person? Because I haven't been shown this kind of evidence. It's all about seeing the evidence, and seeing is believing and all that jazz. So look, it's a very tricky situation. I was in a space earlier on today that Dom Hussein was hosting, and it was 2 ladies that spoke in it. And I tell you now, just one of the ladies I messaged afterwards just to say, thank you for sharing. Her name was Aisha. Just one of the best. It just put in such a brilliant way. And I implore people to listen to more about this subject matter. I really, really do, because it was an eye opener for me. And I didn't even then speak about it from a social point of view, because I just am not educated enough on it. I spoke about it from a footballing angle and, what the club should do, how the club should behave, and how I think rivals should be behaving during this time as well. I see people point scoring. And that's what's been really upsetting today. People point scoring. My club would never. My player would never. I saw people kicking off at certain people hosting spaces about it and talking about it. And everyone's got a different opinion on what's right and wrong. But the point scoring is crazy. On a subject matter like this, to be point scoring for any which way or reason is just so poor in many, many ways. It really, really is. It really is. We're going to take some of your calls now. Original Base Annie was obviously listening to that. She did. She spoke absolute facts. It was an absolute pleasure to sit there and to listen to it. It really, really was. So a big thank you to Dom Hussein for putting that on and all the contributors, because it was absolutely phenomenal to listen to. And I know man like Sunshine and others today have been hosting spaces. A lot of sort of content creators have spoke about this in such brilliant ways. I watched what Flex's channel had to say, what Goldbridge had to say. I haven't checked out everybody else's, and it's great to see so many people from different backgrounds and different thought processes, even people that don't necessarily get on. And I'm not putting those 2 in that category, by the way, just coming out in unity and condemning this and showing the right kind of attitude. And I think that's sometimes, I'm not saying there's a silver lining that might sound insensitive, but it's good to see so many people coming out. And a lot of people have been triggered by this news today because of their own personal experiences and people coming together to help them. For me, watching that and viewing that is humbling as a human being. It really is. So there we go. Yeah, I absolutely hear what a lot of you are saying in the comments there and whatnot. We're going to go to some calls now. First, I'm going to bring onto the show my brother's here with me now. KJ's here in the house. How's it going, bro?
It's going good. It's going good. Today was been a tough day for me personally. Obviously, with Mason Greenwood being a player that I believed in so much, and I wanted to see do so well, to let everyone down in such a way, and to ultimately change a innocent girl's life the way that he has is a disgrace. Absolute disgrace. And I've been in a space myself, and I've said my pieces, but obviously I haven't been on the terrace to speak about it. So yeah, man, he shouldn't play for Man United again. Absolutely shouldn't. He doesn't need to play. He doesn't need to be sung about. He doesn't need to be praised for anything he's done in the past. It's done. And the Man United need to show real example, real bottle, and show how it's supposed to be done in these situations. And that's all. The Man United Football Club have a chance now to show that football as an industry is trying to move forward in the way that it's been operating for years. I honestly believe that there's a way that we can help these young footballers grow as men, and that's what it is. It's growing as a person. It's nothing to do about his football ability. Everything to do with the person that is Mason Greenwood. And I don't want this to happen again to another woman, and I don't want another young man going through the football system to think like this is acceptable. We need to help these young footballers grow into young men who are respectable, who are honourable, who are dedicated, focused, and passionate about what they do, and love and respect the people around them. So yeah, there's more that needs to be done in the world of football, because it's not the first account. It's not the first account of these things happening in our game, in the game that we love, in the sport that we love. So there's more to be done. And I hope every single football club, every single football institution, whether it be the Premier League, FA, FIFA, your local club down the road with an academy, look at this example and see how they can help young people and their young academy players grow. If they need psychologists, bring psychologists in. If it's life mentors, life coaches, bring them in. It's more than just football now. Make sure that these guys are getting the right kind of guidance and the right kind of mentorship going forward, so that they don't end up doing this again, and young women don't end up getting abused and hurt at the hands of people who have been clearly given too much too soon.
Yeah, fine words echoed there, mate. And, you know, as I said in the space earlier on today, you know, you have time to reflect. I think one of the things today that's kind of triggered me is people point scoring, as I say, and pointing to others around. I don't like how you, like, almost, you know, I don't like the fact that it's a weird one, right? Because you kind of get this sort of, they're angry with it. People are angry with the media for not covering it sooner while they were collating the facts. And then they were angry with content creators for creating spaces or for talking about it. And then at the same time, I almost feel like if nobody spoke about it and said, oh, I'll keep my mouth shut, there'd almost be anger. Why is nobody taking this seriously? And that's the bit that with all of this that frustrates me. It's almost everyone's entitled to an opinion on what's right or wrong. Some people think it's nothing to do with you, keep quiet. And I respect that as well, because that's your way. But it's an element of people like point scoring and going after each other when actually you're losing sight of the real problem here, and the person in the, you know, someone hosting a space on this isn't the issue today. It's inconsequential to the overall matter. And I think what you said was brilliant. It really, really is. And, you know, I've had a lot of people, I mean, I woke up and I only knew about the news because I had about 7 people DM me going, so why haven't you done any content yet on this? Mainly I was asleep and I didn't know about it. And it's like, why are you attacking me? It's nothing to do with me, irrespective of what's going on, and that was one of the reasons I felt like I had to do it. And look, I agree with your words there. There's a lot that needs to be done. I'm happy Man United have suspended, and like I say, I know we're linked with this man Dembele today, and we're doing a transfer show. It's almost like I'm in this sort of space of mind with Man United where I'm not even worried about our season because of this, because that isn't the focus for Man United or me. I'm talking about other clubs and looking at what they're doing. It's deadline day tomorrow. We'll be full on deadline day and focused on it, as we always are. But as a Man United fan, I'm just focused on us getting our house in order now, making sure that we're doing things. I don't want to hear no mad cover-ups. I don't want to hear us protecting. You stand by this woman, and you ensure that the police investigate thoroughly. You investigate thoroughly, and we come to a conclusion that everybody is, as best we can, be happy with. That's what I want to see from a footballing element now from Manchester United.
Yeah, and I've not really spoke about transfers today or who's going to play where now and what game. I just don't feel like it's the place or time to do that. I feel like the squad as a whole now, that's another thing that's come along this season that is, you could potentially say, derail things. Now you've got this person in your squad that has done this thing. How do the players react? I don't know. Can I really demand that they perform 10 out of 10 straight after this? No, you know what I mean? Because this is a very, very intense and very sensitive situation. So Man United, they've got another mountain to climb in the short period of time they've got left in the rest of the season. So all I can hope is that that she's okay, the victim, the survivor, she's okay, she's in a safe place, that she's got the right support around her. I hope the players are able to shake this off and get past this and continue to grow as people in a positive way. And then yeah, and with Mason, justice is coming to him in some way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I believe in a higher being, and these things aren't taken too lightly. So whatever comes his way, I believe he deserves, and whatever happens to him in the future, we'll have to wait and see.
Mate, listen, I hear you on that. And look, as I say, we open up the lines tonight. People are free to come on and talk transfers, are free to come on and talk Mason. It's entirely up to them. We want to put it out there to community. KJ, I appreciate you coming on, mate, and having your say. I really, really do, brother. And I'll speak to you. I'll give you a buzz later, mate. All right? Take care. Yeah. Take care, bro. Thank you. Remember, you are feel free to come on and speak about what you want. Keep it respectful if you are going to touch on the Mason thing. It is absolutely, this is what it's for. If you want to speak transfers, though, because that's more on your mind and you want to go into that, absolutely feel free to do that as well. That's absolutely, you're right. And we're going to speak to young Tommy now. Young Tommy's an Arsenal fan. What are you saying, buddy?
Hi, Tel. How are you, mate?
Mate, I've had a really nice day, if I'm being honest, with the family today. So, yeah, very, very good indeed. How about you?
Mom, I'm all right. My mum and dad are good. My sister are good. We were all talking about Mason Greenwood, and he's a good player. I rate him. He's 20. He's got a future ahead of him, but I feel sorry for Harriet, his ex. Like, I'm thinking, what was he thinking? That is not good. That is just no means no. Like, you can't force her to do anything. Like, you don't do that. And I've lost respect for him. Like, you know what? He should never play for Man United Football Club again, because I've lost a lot of respect for him. And he's just thrown his career away. Like, you're 20, you're a good striker, but doing this bullshit, I'm thinking you've thrown it away. So yeah, and Pogba and De Gea unfollowed him on Instagram and Twitter, and on Instagram and Twitter, and you know what? I've lost a lot of respect for him. I just hope Harriet gets the support she needs. Like, I feel for her, and I was looking at the bruises. I'm thinking, oh my days, and that's not good. So I've lost a lot of respect.
And I just want to address that very quickly. You said at the start he has a future. I think what you meant is he did have a future,
right?
He did have
a future.
I knew what you meant. It was a slip. A few people in the comments are pulling on it. It was a slip of the tongue. I knew what you meant. Like, he had a great future ahead of him.
He had a great future.
Yeah. I hear you on that, young Tommy. I really, really do, mate. Listen, thank you for calling in and having your say.
I got one more thing to say. The transfers. Aubameyang going to Barcelona. I hope he does well for them, and hopefully we can bring Isaac as well. So I hope Isaac comes to us as well. So yeah, and hopefully we get Isaac and see how it goes. And yeah, Mason Greenwood, like I said, I've lost respect for him, and he's wasted his future. So I hope he goes to prison.
There we go. Young Tommy, top man. Thank you very much for coming on and having your say. Listen, sometimes when people have a slip of the tongue, just give them an opportunity, or me an opportunity, to ask them what they really mean. You don't need to overreact straight away. I knew young Tommy's a lovely guy. We all knew I knew what he meant. Like, he had one and it's gone. Cameron's here all the way from Canada. What are you saying, Cam?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Mate, that moustache is starting to look very sexy. I have to tell you that now, mate. I just had to say, you look like a fireman, bro. You're looking good. You're looking good. Like in the mood there a little bit, but I'm liking it, mate. Yeah. How are you though, my friend?
I mean, it's a rough one. I woke up, obviously, I wake up later than everybody, and I wake up to the group chats, and I'm just like, the fuck? But it was actually my Canadian friends who hit me up first about it, and was like, your boy's done. And I'm like, well, what? So when I saw the news, I'm just like, I heard everything that everybody's talking about. I saw my opinion on it is he's just done. There's no, at the end of the day, there's no like sure rehab and all that exists, but you're done in the world of football. You're done. Like, this is a career ender. This is a life ender, and it's deserved. I'm not saying he threw away anything, because I agree. I don't agree with that statement. Is he ruined somebody else's life and in turn ruined his own life? That's how I look at it. You did something that ruined somebody else's life, and in turn now your life's ruined. Not you ruined your own career. That's just how I look at it. Normally I'm like you, where it's like, you like the Cho thing. You sit back and you wait, and you're like, well, let's see with all the information. There's this is just too damning. And it's sad. Like, it's sad. Like, when you can't hear a voice note like that and feel anything but disgust. And then you couple it with the pictures, and you couple it with the news that came out like a few years ago, a year ago or whatever. It seemed like his family was protecting him a bit. making sure he didn't go off with the England team during the time it was happening. A lot of people were saying like, oh, United had to know. Yep, listen, they probably had some sense, but unless they saw what we saw today, they didn't know exactly what. You don't know what's going on. Like it's impossible to know, right?
It's one of those things, and I don't, I spoke about it on this morning show when it broke. We did a very, very short stream really for us, and I was kind of, me, I always play all angles in terms of scenarios, and I said it on the show. It was just one of those things where I just knew it. I'm very reluctant ever to say like guilty before proven innocent. It's just me as an individual. It isn't something that sits with me. But because we've seen the evidence, I was sitting there and I was like, the only way this ain't him is if this is some elaborate ploy and it was somebody else, and like they're saying, like, but you can hear it's him. I'm sort of like, you're sort of sitting there going, how can this? You're not trying to get him out, not trying to defend him. It's like, how could this not be him?
Mm-hmm.
And you go through it in every way, and you're like, nah, it's him. It's 100% him. And I wasn't looking for an out for him at all. It was just I was looking at it from the point of view of just from a legal standpoint of there's no way out of this. And in some respects, I'm kind of glad about that. And I don't know how to articulate why I am. It's almost because if it was just a picture, he did this 2 days ago.
There's a haziness.
You get what I mean?
But everything coupled in gives closure right off the bat. And I think that's needed for the players. I think that's needed for the club. It's like, and the club needs to act swiftly. Like they're already suspended him, but it needs to be as soon as just done, terminated contract. Like there's things where it's like, oh, he said, she said, or this or that. Like there's no he said, she said here. So I see what you mean where you're like happy it all couples together because there's closure right off the bat. Like we know, we kind of are, we understand. And it's like, once everything goes through the process, because that's the thing, people are screaming they should terminate now. Like legally, you can't do certain things, right? You have to follow a process.
Like people kicking off when like Sky have said a man has been just say it's Mason Greenwood. They're not allowed to. Sky would be sued for so much money. They can't do. I know we all want to see it, but the reason why I was saying that earlier about the video, I remember a video that went round of everyone said it was Conor McGregor in bed with a woman. And it turned out it was a Conor McGregor lookalike who had all the tattoos. And I'm not suggesting this was done in that case. It was one of those things that I was just, sometimes when it first happens, you're like, I just want to wait for a little bit more clarity. But then I listened to the voice note again and again. And I'm like, that's definitely him. No one's doing his voice. No one's messing up. Do you know what I mean? But I was like, yeah, this is just damning. And as you say, you just want them to do the investigation, it to be done. I just want Man United to do the right thing. I don't want to be... I've criticized some other football clubs in the last 10, 15 years for standing by the wrong people because they're brilliant footballers. And I don't want Man United to do it. I'd rather it hinder us on the pitch. But moralistically, we've done the right thing here because that message transcends. That message will force other clubs into doing the same thing. If we pull rank, defend him, protect him, start a PR strategy to make everyone like him again, and he carries on playing, it means more people will get in future.
That damages the club in so many ways. From a fan base standpoint, from a player standpoint, why would you want to come play for a club like that? Why would you want to be associated with a club like that, right? Like I heard people today saying like, United had to know they paid off reporters, they did all this. I'm like, listen, I work in the media space. There's no amount of money. There's no amount of money that could be paid to keep this in the wraps that would be worth the backlash that could come from it. It's just not, it's from the moral standpoint, from your organizational standpoint, like you can destroy your entire house by backing somebody in this situation, which is why they already suspended him. And I don't think for a moment that he'll ever play for United again.
Yeah. And I think the thing is, as you say, there's the violence, which we've seen footballers come back from before. We have seen Paul Gascoigne's, we've seen Stan Collymore's, to name a couple that have come back from that. But it's the sex element, which is, I think. Listen, I'm not.
It's just the fact that there's the voice note for me is it. It's a wrap. You have that and it's done. And I think that's really it's a damning thing. And it's like even without that, it still should be done in today's day and age. But you're right. Like players have come back, this or that. But a lot of times it's like, oh, you hear about it, you see, like you don't see it. This has been put in front of the world to see and digest and stomach, which is very hard to stomach. So it's it just can't, there's no way back for me. It's done. And I hope I listen to KG, he's right. Like as a player in that dressing room, you're sitting there being like, shit, this was happening. Right. But so that's not going to feel good. Right. And it's not their fault. No, this is Mason's fault. Like everybody needs to understand, like people coming down all rotten club, like this is all Mason Greenwood's doing. This is not Man United's doing. This is one bad apple. This is one really shitty person. That's their doing, right? And it's not her fault. It's no one. It's his fault, and that's what everybody needs to focus on.
And I tweeted that, and do you know what? I tweeted that earlier. Just along the lines of, I don't want to hear about, oh my god, he's thrown his career away. Oh my god, he's messed up so bad. That I don't care about that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's and I'm again, it was a weird one for me because I'm always very reluctant to go straight in on someone. And I did listen to the voice note, but I could only listen to it once because it was so chilling for me. But then it was almost this element of like, do I want to go on a camera and like slam someone? And then in 24 hours, it turns out not to be, I don't even know how to compute this, but not to be real. Because I'm talking, my face is on camera saying it. And it's almost like that's hard for me. And I'm like, now, do you know what? I'm going with my gut. This is what I was trying to say earlier. I'm gonna go with my gut. And in my gut, I know. So it's one of them ones, come for me if it ends up being wrong, but I don't think it is. So I don't think it is, it's one of them ones, bro. Listen, my guy, I appreciate you coming on, having your say. Really, really do. And I'll chat to you soon. Cheers, Cam. All the best, my man. Thank you. I don't know how to pronounce his name correct. Jeremy with stunning beard. He's coming on the show now. How you doing, bro? How do I say your name?
Yeah, my name's Aruvier. Aruvier,
mate. Yeah, I'm dyslexic. There's no way I'm reading that, my G.
I've had it all through school, but
no worries, my guy. What are you here to say, my friend?
Yeah, so I'm a Chelsea fan, but I think in this, your football fan base is completely irrelevant because at the end of the day, it's coming to a real life issue. Like all of the evidence today is just completely insurmountable. Like on Twitter, people are trying to score points. Prison FC, bullshit like that. Even if you're making a joke about the subject, what you're doing is completely morally wrong. At the end of the day, yeah, he's throwing his career away, but that's complete collateral damage. Like what he's done to that young girl now, a lot of people, do you know what I mean? You can get depression from that. A lot of people, they end up becoming quite suicidal from things like that. Like the damage that it's done, we should all be upset about what it's potentially done to this young girl because, once he's done whatever he's done to the girl, there's no going back from that. So I think all of the things where people are like, oh, he was a generational talent, blah, blah, blah. I mean, of course, nobody wants to see anybody throw their career away, but the main port of call and the main reason why we should all be upset and be quite somber is because someone's ruined this young girl's life and she's done completely nothing wrong. Do you know what I mean? So,
and do you know, I want to pull on that. I saw a few comments earlier, and people may just be naive or young or just not thought about it from this point of view. How has it ruined their life? I've listened to spaces today where ladies, and I listened to a space where men as well. And again, it's not about point scoring because the two ladies that spoke earlier on today, I actually being one of them, they spoke about this. This does also impact men as well. But I heard one man say this today, and 2 or 3 women tell their stories. And some of these situations happened 15, 20 years ago, and they're still hurting, scared now. So that's the claim you made there. I think you're speaking tremendous facts about ruining someone's life. Is this doesn't just go away because Mason loses his job and gets a custodial sentence. It stays with people sometimes forever.
Definitely. And on top of that, because I'm a medical student as well, so the other week we were learning about kind of anxiety, and in some situations when you've lost somebody to death, who's been quite close to you, you can get something called an abnormal grief response. Now, with the abnormal grief response, there's a lot of things which can make you have that. So either the person, you're not expecting it to happen. And another thing that can cause the abnormal grief response is if the person who you've lost is a public figure. So now, not only has that girl got to think about the effects of being sexually assaulted and all of the stuff that comes with that, she's completely in the limelight. Now, if somebody, someone from where you're living gets sexually assaulted, it's horrible because of what's happened, but they've not got the whole world watching them and knowing exactly what went down. Like that audio recording is now out there digitally. There's no taking it back. Do you know what I mean? So that's why for me, I'm a Chelsea fan. I wanted to come on here, talk about transfers, talk about how slow we've been, do you know what I mean? But I just thought, at the end of the day, football is just a game. Like this is real life, and these are the kinds of conversations and these are the kinds of things which should take priority and should be given the limelight when given the opportunity.
Mate, I totally agree. And I was sort of sitting here and thinking, look, what I speak about tonight? I want to put it open. I put a number of things that we can speak about, and then I leave it open-ended for the audience to come in and say what they want. If somebody wants to ring in and go, do you know what, Terry, just want to speak transfers, I'm going to respect that. If somebody wants to speak about this matter, I'll respect that. If somebody wants to tell me, their story, I'm going to respect that. And I think that's what I've liked today. And I know that some people, as I've mentioned, have kind of been like, I don't get why everybody's talking about it. It's because this is bigger than just Mason Greenwood. This is bigger than just football. I've really focused on it from the football point of view because you're a medical student, my friend. You can talk about the element you did in such. I'm not going to challenge what you've said. I'm going to listen to it and learn and absorb like a sponge. The football element is key to me because it's an area that I feel I've got an air of, I wouldn't say credibility, but understanding in how I want the football club to behave and act has been my big focus today. Others, it's going to be on, what you can do to spot these things. And that's what I've enjoyed about these conversations today is multiple people helping me feel more educated on the subject matter, if that makes sense. And
definitely,
I really appreciate what you said there. Sorry, mate, go on.
Thank you. Yeah, I was just going to say as well, I'm a massive football fan. Do you know what I mean? I'm from up north, but you know what I mean? I try to go to Stamford Bridge like every other week. But obviously I respect people that want to come on here and speak about transfers, but football will keep on going. Like, you're going to have your live shows tomorrow, you're going to have the day after that, blah, blah, blah. This situation is something which needs to be dissected and attacked before it gets, do you know what I mean? You need to kind of address these kinds of things as soon as possible. So that's why for me, I can't ever say that, you know what I mean? I can't guarantee that I'm going to be back on the show. So this time I've been given this opportunity, that's what I want to use it for, something like this, just to. And thank you very much, Terry.
No, mate, listen, absolutely. And as you said, I really appreciate listening to what you've got to say. Very educational for me, my friend. And feel free again in the future to phone in and have your say. Really appreciate it, bro.
Definitely.
Thank you very much. All the best, my guy. And that beard, mate, stunning. Mate.
Thank you, lad.
Yeah, bro. Thank you. And listen, if anybody is suffering in any way, shape, or form, there's a number of numbers here that you can contact here from domestic abuse helplines. Run by Refuge. There's the Men's Adverse line. There's Mankind. There's a number here that you can see. So we'll take a few moments here for anybody who want to take these down, read these, put these aside. Maybe you don't want to Google it yourself for a particular reason, and you can just take it off the screen right now. It doesn't show up. I don't know these circumstances, but I'm just saying now. I'm going to leave that up there for a few moments for anybody to take, write down, screenshot, whatever is the easiest method for you. Make sure you get that done. There we go. In relation to that, but like as we say, it's a tough day for football today. But actually, you can turn these things around. I think you can turn these things around, and you can focus on some. There often can be some positives that come out of this in terms of attention, education, and improving things for others moving forward. And you always got to look to get the best out of any bad situation you can to improve things for the future. So maybe that's something that will improve in relation to that. Leaf's on the show now with us. What are you saying, Leaf?
Hi, can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you, my friend. Yes, mate.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to speak about transfers because, this Mason Greenwood thing, it's really horrible what's happening. And I just want to talk about transfers. So before I talk about Spurs, Dembele is going to PSG, apparently. I just saw this on Twitter. So it's an interesting move for PSG because it's another injury-prone winger. But maybe he can help them win the Champions League. But anyway, Spurs, I'm actually quite surprised that we got in these two signings really quickly. And they are actually really good, and they improve our squad depth by quite a bit. Kulusevski, he's very young, he's 21, and he did win Serie A Young Player of the Year in 2020. He got 18 goals and assists for Parma. He's not playing very well for Juve, but that's because he doesn't suit the manager's style. He's the opposite of an Allegri and Sarri player, and he's the perfect Conte player because he works really hard, he's physical, and he has a great mentality. And I'm honestly really happy about these signings.
Yeah, listen, Spurs have done some good business today. And listen, by the way, if I respect your view to want to talk football, and I think that's absolutely fair. And the reason that I say that very quickly to a few people in the comments having a go, And I'm not expecting Leaf to. We don't know Leaf's background. We don't know what Leaf has been through. Where maybe talking about something like this is just too difficult. As an example, so respect people and the fact that you don't know where they're coming from personally and emotionally when they don't want to speak on certain subjects. But yeah, look, I mean, I've read a bit about the players you've signed today. Bentancur is someone that I think is interesting. That the attacker you've bought, I don't know anything about him. I've read some good stuff, and there's something sometimes quite exciting about that. But at least you've got these two in, and nobody hijacked them at the at the depth, which has happened a few times this week, my friend. Leaf, I really appreciate your call. Thank you very, very much for coming on and having your say. Top man. Thank you very much indeed. David's here with me now. What you saying, David boy?
I'm good. Obviously, I want to be the same as Leaf. I just want to talk about football because I think it's pretty self-explanatory what everybody else is thinking about the other situation.
Yeah,
to me,
you could have listened to two. You probably listened to KJ. You probably listened to the trainee doctor that just called in, and you're like, I can't say it better than that, so leave it there. I get that. Yeah, I get that.
But the two signings Spurs have done, I'm really impressed with because Bentancur is like a midfielder who's like been highly touted for years, and like I know like Man United have been linked in the past, so he's a good player. Is he an upgrade on Harry Winks and Oliver Skip? Yeah, so that's already improving your first 11. Kulusevski, like a really young winger, quite physical. He was at Parma. He was like a Serie A young player of the season. So he's also got a lot of talent as well. So those are two signs that like really improved their overall squad. So I think it's good. Like he can do a better job than Dele Alli. That simple.
Yeah, I mean, I want to ask you this question. All right, Spurs have got a couple of players in now. Arsenal look like they're about to let Aubameyang go. Do you think Arsenal are going to sign anybody tomorrow? Do you think they'll get something done that's going to improve their squad, or do you agree with? Gal came on quite late last night and sort of said that because they're barely playing any games now, just the league, they can cope with a thinner squad. Did you feel like Arsenal taking a big risk? Do you think something's going to happen? What do you think Arsenal are doing? How do you think that's going to work for them?
I think they've had probably the worst window, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I know you've got rid of people that you didn't want, but you kind of need just bodies. Like you are again, with the new rules that are coming, you've got you have to have 4 CV cases before you can call for a postponement. So you are running a very serious risk of having to play Patino in midfield again. I'm sure he's got potential, but he's just not Premier League ready. You can't be throwing in under 23s and under 18 into your Premier League midfield. It's not going to work if you get injuries. But from where they thought they were going to be to where they are now, it's probably the worst window. The only window is Chelsea, I guess, because we haven't done anything, but I think us two are fighting out for the worst one.
I mean, City haven't. They haven't bought anyone for the first team. Chelsea, your squad's stacked, and I think I read that Reece James is back after this break, so he's back in the fold, and you'll get by with Alonso. I mean, you pretty much use Alonso in your run to win the Champions League last year in most games anyway. So Ben Chilwell wasn't used as regularly, so you've got a chance there. I really wanted Man United to sign someone, but it just feels that there's nothing going on unless something absolutely out of the blue kind of happens. And obviously our attention's elsewhere at the moment, and rightfully so. So I don't know if anything will happen in those spaces. But Arsenal, I just feel could be really sort of just letting themselves and their fans down, really. But we'll see.
I just think they're too light. I think they're too light, especially to sustain a push. If you get into bad form and you need to rotate out some players, they don't have those players anymore. You now have to play with Lacazette. Lacazette has to be that guy.
Yeah.
There is no backup. So if Lacazette goes into bad form, what are you gonna do? There's they've even got rid of John Jules, who's their youngster, who they're touting as a really big talent as well. So they don't even have him to come in if he absolutely has to. So I just think they're way too thin now. So yeah.
Mate, I hear you completely. I do. Dave, really appreciate you coming on, mate, and having your say. Top man. Thank you. We are at the end of the show. I know there's loads of you waiting backstage to try and come on and have your say. And I'm so sorry we can't get round to any more calls this evening. We're back tomorrow. We'll have a number of streams over the course of deadline day. I've had to postpone my hair transplant, mainly for childcare issues. I'm very gutted. I thought I was getting my transfer tomorrow. But it isn't happening. I want to say a big thank you to everybody that spoke so calmly, eloquently, and brilliantly about the Mason situation. And it's beautiful to see so many people able to focus on the right issues within this and the right kind of thing. To everyone that subscribed to the Terrace, everybody that's liked the video, thank you. Give it a smash before you go as well, please. We're back tomorrow with more content for you, our community. Until next time, take care. Goodbye.